This is Erna Blooms. I have a question for you. Do you know the difference between self-worth and self-confidence? Learning the difference and knowing and owning your self-worth will help you get the life that you want. So I have a special guest named Maria Tan. She is a business coach for Misfits, and she has all the insights regarding self-worth and how to own it and also monetize it. So let's dive in. So I'm gonna introduce you guys to Maria. She is a badass, and she is the business coach, business coach for Misfits, and she has helped clients across the globe. They're out-of-the-box thinkers to create success tailored to their lifestyle. So she is amazing at this, and the first time I met her, she has great energy. I would just love her. So, so I was like, we have to do this together. And so it's been amazing. And I also want to know, congratulate Maria for being successful in her online coaching. And within 2 years, she's been featured in HuffPost, Elephant Journal, Pick the Brain, Addicted to Success, and was the only Asian woman featured in the Money Code and How to Crack It, the book that debuted number 14 on Amazon US. So that's amazing stuff, Maria. I'm so proud of you. So I would like to actually want you to give the floor to you and let you actually share a little bit about your background, where you are right now, and what time is it over there, and also what did you do before and how did you transition to what you do now?
First of all, thank you so much, Erna, for having me. Again, to everybody here, my name is Maria. I am originally from the Philippines, and I am currently back in Manila. And I'm very thankful that I am back in Manila because of COVID and how, the whole world pretty much shut down. So it's really good to be near family during this time. So I am sending you all love. I hope everybody is taking care of yourself. You're practicing social distancing and really protecting yourself from COVID. So that I really, really am sending everybody that love and light. Now, I'm again, like I said, I'm originally from the Philippines. I have lived in New Zealand, Taiwan, and I actually stayed in Taiwan for about 15 years. A little bit about me. Before I started coaching online, I was already a business consultant. So primarily on cross-cultural business and communications. I specialize in market penetration, trading, import, export, entering new markets. So those are really my specialties: negotiations, marketing, branding. So those are really where I came from. So online coaching is also similar because instead of me serving a corporation or a company, I serve a person, right? Mostly specializing, of course, with misfits, with non-conformists, visionaries, creatives, multi-passionates who really just want to create a sustainable business model around who they are. And I think what inspired me to start doing business coaching for misfits is really because as a misfit myself, my whole life, I've always felt like, like I had to, like nobody got me. Right? Like nobody got me. And most of the time in my experience, I've met so many people from all over the world. And I've met really, really good people, like people who just want to do good things, people who are artists, who are creatives, who are visionaries. And the problem with most great people, they are not very good at selling themselves, right? Like they're very good at, at who they are. Yeah, but they're not very good at connecting to other people. They're not very good at selling themselves. They're not very good at creating a sustainability around who they are. And I felt like, I really just want to help people who have this fire in them to create new things, to create different perspectives, to create a different spin in life, create success their way. So that's what really drove me to switch into business coaching to individuals versus corporations. And I think like it's so important right now, especially because we are seeing more and more people really acknowledging their worth and seeing their worth, but seeing your worth just goes certain way, right?
Right.
You have to learn how to quantify that. You have to learn how to monetize that. You have to learn how to be sustainable in that, so that you do not need to be doing things that do not bring you joy. You do not need to be working for people who don't make you happy. You don't need to be going into companies that don't really make sense for you.
Right. So Maria, like since the first time I met you, I want to ask this question. I want to share the same exact question. Where did you get your confidence? Like, where did you get everybody have like their doubts and stuff, right? But you have this power. Like since the first time I met you, you always have that confidence. How did you explain it?
Well, again, I was a misfit, or I've always been a misfit. And when I say misfit, I just don't fit in. So I come from a long family line of entrepreneurs. So entrepreneurship, like doing business, it's not new. It's in my blood. But coming from Asia, coming from a very collective culture, people are really much, you have to do things a certain way, etc., etc. So the way I did things, right, for the longest time was so unacceptable for many people. So for me, I just cannot, there's just that part of me that I cannot be who I'm not. So
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
me, so there comes in the confidence, right? And coming from a developing country, there are times when your feelings of second class comes in, right? Like Philippines has a very colonial mindset of, imported is good, America is good, blah blah blah. So there's a lot of like um feeling of like the third world syndrome that I call, that I had
Yeah.
to overcome. And for me, what really drove me to really get into that confidence was seeing I've met, like I said, I've met so many people, but I've also met people who are intentionally doing bad, and I cannot stand for that. It really, really, it rubs me wrong, and I cannot accept that just because, let's say, someone is, I don't know, coming from a second world, from a first world country, making more money than me because I'm Asian, or is being respected more than me, or let's say someone who's older to be listened to more than me because I'm young. So for me, it all boils down to respect,
Yeah.
respecting worth, respecting value. And for me, I've always been that type of person where I know I'm different. I'm comfortable being different. And despite being bullied and ostracized and gaslighted, I have very high respect for myself and for my values. So because of that, I'm not willing to compromise. I'm the type of person that would walk out $1 billion contracts just because something rubbed me wrong. For me, like money is easy. Yeah, like money is easy. Making money is easy. But making money the way I want to, that's the challenge. And that's the one thing that I really stand for. So that is where, like, for me, what drove me is really injustice. I really cannot accept that someone would just look. Sorry?
It's a respect to yourself, which is kind of great.
Yes.
Start with that, and you have the courage to, like, the conviction that there is, you deserve better. And
yes,
a lot
of course.
People, they have that kind of like a borderline where it's like, should I do it or should I just, conform? And so when you were like growing up, and I think you shared with me before, I want you to share with our audience about your naysayers and doubters when you're doing this business, even like with your family and things. Tell us a bit more about how did you cope with that, and what did you see, and how did you overcome it?
So the first thing that I want people to understand is this: when we are creating something new, the people that we want to leave will not understand it. Meaning, if I want to create business the way my family doesn't do, you cannot expect them to understand. So for me, the more we expect the people that we're leaving or we're staying away from to understand us, that's the biggest pain that we'll have. So for me, I do not need my family to support me. I am smart enough. I am capable enough. I don't need them to be my cheerleader. Okay. So for me, I always don't care. I wouldn't be the person. If my mother says something like, oh, but you know, blah 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 blah, it's just in, out, done. Like I don't engage in conversations that do not help me. So or it's very normal for my mom to be scrolling through Facebook or Instagram and be criticizing. You should do something this way, blah blah blah. Look at how you dress, blah blah blah. And for me, I only ask her, "Are you my client? If not, then whatever you say is nothing, right?" So I'm very very clear that when we are creating something different, right? That's why we want to create something different, because we don't want the same thing. So with our family who are doing things a certain way, who talks certain way, who thinks certain way, you do not expect them to understand you. That's why you want something different, right? So do not expect the support from these people. The best thing that you can expect from them is acceptance. Meaning, at least they don't sabotage you. They don't go out of their way to distract you. That's enough. For me, as long as they don't sabotage, that's fine. I don't need their support. So that for me is very clear, because the new thing that I'm creating, the reason why these people did not create it is because they don't believe it, right? So I don't waste your time talking to people who will not get it in the beginning.
Right.
It's disrespecting yourself. So that's the first thing. So when you have naysayers, you have people who doubt you, you will know there you have to balance between saying it your way and just saying thank you for your feedback, next. Because again, we are not here to convince and justify our decisions. We are here to share a different perspective. If the person that cannot see that perspective, then they are not our people. Family, you cannot go away. That's just, it's in our blood. That's family. So for me, if there's family affairs, I will attend. But feel the need to explain myself, to justify myself to people who will never get it. It's a waste of time, right? So that's one. The second thing, when you now get naysayers who are quite let's say who are in business, right? Like you are criticizing you for the way you do things, etc.
I think there's a little connection issue now. I think you might want to repeat what you just said this last.
Okay. So that's one for family who you're leading from. The second kind of naysayers you will get is from the new thing that you're creating. Meaning, let's say you want to create business in a different way, and you want to do something differently, you will find people who will criticize you, right? Who will say, oh, you shouldn't do it like this, blah, blah, blah. But let me tell you this. The reason why those people are criticizing you is because you struck a nerve in them. People are busy, to be honest. They don't have time for you. So the moment that this person actually took the time to write you a comment, to write you a message, to say, hey, I don't agree with you, etc., etc., I take that as, wow, I'm doing something great. I'm not going to look at it as a criticism. I will look at it as a validation that, wow, what I said or what I did made so much impact on this person who took the time to write me an email or to write me a message, right? So then,
it's so great that you turned that out in your mind.
Yeah, because don't forget, I think people, we think that the world revolves around us, but it really doesn't. So people don't really care what we say, what we do. Like at the end of the day, people don't really care that much about how we think or what we think or what we say. But the moment they do, it's because they care about you. And if they care about you, it means whatever comment they said, it's just because they want to say, hey, I think you're doing it the wrong way. Don't do it that way. I know better than you. Let me help you do it the certain way. So for me, I always think they are just helping. We do not need everybody to agree with us. Okay? We don't need everybody to agree with us. So when people take the time to tell you a different perspective, it means they care about you. Okay, now I can say I want your care or I don't want your care. It's the same as if I am holding grocery bags and someone comes and says, hey, do you want help? I can say yes or I can say no, thank you. So for me, I look at naysayers just like that. The moment or the fact that they actually take their time to criticize you or give you feedback is because they care or they think, or you struck a nerve. Now the question is, do you want this person in your life or not? Then you move forward. So when you deal with naysayers, don't take it as a validation that you are wrong. I think that's what people do, right? When someone criticizes them, they take it as, oh my God, I'm so wrong. Why don't everybody love me? No. When people criticize you, it's because you spoke something so different that they had to stop and think. People don't have time. When the mere fact that they stop, they think, they listen to you, it means, wow, you're on the right track.
Cool. Yeah, I think that's totally cool point of view about how to handle that in your mind and how to shift that way. Right. And then
exactly.
I have a question for you. What is like the so who has self-worth issues? Like men, women, like based on your experience, like how does that, tip the scale, I guess, who has self-worth issues? Younger people, older people, or people in general? What do you see like coaching experience, and why do you think it's important for us to really own our self-worth? Why do we want to spend time talking about it?
So the first thing that I want to differentiate is self-worth and self-confidence are two different things. Self-confidence is your belief in your skills. For example, you're a good designer, so oh, I'm a good designer. Or let's say, oh, you're the CEO or the CFO of an multinational company, and you think, oh, I'm a CFO. That's confidence. Worth is your ability to believe in the value you bring the world. It means that worth is your ability to just believe that whatever happens, you are okay. You will not tie your worth to your title. You will not tie your worth to a certificate. So for me, people who have self-worth issues may look confident, but their confidence comes from an external validation. So so self-worth is the moment you worry about what would people think of this crazy idea. What would people say? Oh my God, she would say that, blah, blah, blah. Even successful people have self-worth issues, right? Even artists, even the top people, because self-worth is so tied into your essence. It's not your money, it's not your status, it's not your achievements. So everybody has that self-worth issue, right? So that's why a lot of people stay in jobs that they don't like because they have self-worth issues. They think, oh, but if I leave this job, I will sacrifice my 6-7-figure salary, right? That's the first thing they will think. Oh, but I leave this job, nobody will pay me the same way. I'm staying here just because of money. Those statements already indicate how low your self-worth is, because you're tying now your success, everything, to your work, right? Or well, I don't really like my boyfriend, but I don't have another choice, right? Successful people. So like especially in Asia, like especially in the Philippines, I don't know how many people have asked me why am I not yet married? I'm only 33. But in this culture, 33 is old to get married. So there's a lot of questions, right? Why aren't you married? Blah, blah, blah. Aren't you finding a boyfriend? Blah, blah, blah. And I always tell them, you know what? I'd rather stay single than compromise on who I want. I'm not willing to be in a relationship just because everybody has a relationship. So I don't mind being different, right? Why am I going to enter a relationship that I'm not comfortable with just so I can make everybody like me or be happy.
Yeah.
Right?
I like that how you confident.
So everybody who has an issue on having a different voice or a different perspective, a different take on things, has self-worth issues. Because then you will be like, oh, but everybody's doing this, I should do that too. It's not about confidence. Because you have confidence, we all have confidence in our skills. We went to school, we spent years and years in school to learn a skill. So confidence is about me believing the work I do, but worth is believing who I am.
Yeah. Question for you, like I feel like there's somewhere in your past, where you have that moment of like decision, right? You have this have to make. Were you always been like this, like since you were little, or you were like at some point in your life you're sticking to it? What is that shift?
I think it's multiple times, Erna.
That happened.
It's multiple times. I think it's multiple times in our lives where, we know there's something wrong, right? Like we know, oh, something's wrong in this company. Something's wrong with this relationship. We know. It's not we don't know. We are not stupid. Everybody knows when something is wrong and something is off. But when your environment tells you, or let's say your family, your friends tell you, oh, no, stay in that job because you will not get another job. That's a good job. Or no, stay in that relationship. He's handsome, blah, blah, blah. Or no, when you hear that, immediately I'm just thinking, you didn't even care about what I feel. You're just telling me what looks good, right? So you don't care about how I feel. You didn't even ask me what I don't like about the job. You didn't even ask me what I don't like about the relationship. You're telling me to stay in a relationship without all the information. And for me, I think like that no, something's wrong. So as I grow up, maybe my action or my decision is not just became firmer and faster. In the past, it's like, maybe they're right. Maybe I should stay in this job. Maybe I should stay in this relationship. Maybe I should take on this client. Maybe we all have that, right? Because our decisions are driven by fear. So I would be, maybe they're right. Maybe blah, blah, blah. But then you know what happens? You stay in a relationship, you're just delaying the inevitable. How often I realized, wow, I stayed in this job. I took on this client. I didn't listen to my gut. And after a few months, wow, more problem, more stress, more, so at the end of the day, I just realized, wow, I wasted so much time and energy to myself.
So when we have the self issues, like we always think about, for example, if it's a job, like, oh, do I have to move on? Do I take this client, or do I, like we have this cross path and like a self talk, right? And we actually like want to make sure that we have the ducks in a row. Like, how do you prepare ourselves? What would you recommend us to go through in like our process time so we make decisions faster? Like when we're going through like the decisions.
So I want to separate a few things. The first thing is, sometimes we've already made the decision, but the action is not yet there. Most of the time, why people have difficulty is because they think they've decided and then took action immediately that they are not prepared for. For example, they are in a company that they don't like. Okay, now they decided, I'm done, I'm leaving. So what they do immediately, they hand in their 2-week notice. And then after that, they feel depressed because they don't have anything lined up, right? So for me, decision is different from action. You can make a decision now and then be strategic about your action. So those two are different things. It's like think of it this way. sometimes we think about what we want to eat tomorrow, right? When we're sleeping. For example, at night, I'm thinking, I wonder what my breakfast would be, right? Like you're thinking, oh, I love avocado toast for breakfast. So you don't get up from your bed and make avocado toast. You're going to sleep and then do it the next day, right? So these two should be separated. If you've decided to leave a job, leave your relationship, let go of clients, you do it properly. Don't do it like, I want to leave a job. Tomorrow I'm going to resign. No, because you have to understand how you're going to be comfortable with that decision, right? So for me, if I leave the job, do I want to take a break first? Or do I want to immediately find a job? So I will ask myself those questions. So at least the path, I call it my exit plan all the time. Like I always have an exit plan. Okay. Maybe the plan is not very, very clear, but I'm sure that it's either when I leave here, I will either take a break first for 2 or 3 months, or I will immediately find something else.
Yeah.
So until you,
this is so true. Like what you're just telling me is kind of like what I experienced 5 years ago when I was leaving my previous work, right? And I actually did that. Like the decision come first, you decide, and I didn't like leave until 7 months later when I actually like put my ducks in a row. Like what you said, the strategy with the action comes later, but the decision can start now. Same thing with relationship or client or whatever it is that you want to do with your life. That's so true. I think that's really good way of putting it.
Yes. Because that way you are more responsible. We have to take responsibility with our actions, with our non-actions, because that will propel us forward. So that is how you make decision. Decision and action are two different things. You make a decision, am I really leaving or not? If you say yes, okay. When? Do I want to leave next month? If I leave next month, can I handle the stress with that? Because every move, every action has stress. In the body, the chemical components of the body cannot distinguish between good stress and bad stress. The moment you change something in your life, the body will feel threatened. The body will feel like, oh, something's wrong. You know, they wouldn't think that it's good or it's bad. This is the reason why a lot of people who are up leveling, who have spiritual changes, who are changing their diet, in the beginning, their body reacts badly. But it doesn't mean that that decision or that action is bad. It's just that the body cannot distinguish between good change or bad change. It just integrates that as, you know, I don't really suggest people to think too far when it comes to making small decisions. Like for me, like leaving a job it's not a very, very big decision. You understand? Like because the moment you think too far, you will overthink. So let's say you will think, because you will think, oh my God, but if I leave this job, what about my kids? What about their college plan? Even if your kids are 3-year-old. Right? So do
you suggest people focusing on like day to day, week by week, or how do you how immediate your like thinking process should be like about? You know, is it like just focus on the day?
Okay, so for me, there's 2 parts again there. The first part is, where do I want my life to go? What is what is the life that I'm living? The best life I'm living. That's one. That is first. It's like, you just think about what kind of house do I want to live in? That kind first. That's the big picture, right? The moment you have a direction, as long as all the decisions you make is towards that direction, that's good. So for example, you say, I want a business. I want to start a business. So all your actions need to propel, I want to start a business. You do not say yes to people who ask to tell you, hey, can I interview you because, I'm looking for someone to do this or to work for me. right? Or, hey, are you looking for a job? Immediately I will say, no, I don't even need to look at the offer. There is no, the moment you say, if they're willing to pay me XYZ, of course I will work for them. For me, I don't care if someone gives me billions of dollars. I will not work for them because I have my own thing.
Yeah, it's back to the focus, you know.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. If you have a direction, you are clear. You don't need this very details, but at least you have the direction of. It's like I want to go to Europe. Okay, let's say, oh, I want to go to Europe for my trip, right? Then you do not make any decision based on Asia or Australia or America. You're just thinking, I want to go to Europe, right?
Yeah, right, Cindy. Yeah, total commitment for sure. Cindy was saying full commitment. Yeah, that's exactly right. You have to commit to it.
Yeah. So commit to your big direction, but be flexible with your day to day. As long as everything that you do propels you forward to that direction, that's fine.
Yeah.
Most people, I think they confuse. They're like, yeah, I want to have a business, but then I want to find a job. What does that mean, right?
Yeah. True. It's like totally that's opposite direction, so it's not gonna work. Yeah.
Exactly.
So backtrack for a sec. Like when you make decision, like you are obviously very excellent at like making decisions, right? Because you already like have this mindset of the self-worth and everything built in. But some of us, maybe still kind of in that beginning, like personal development where we're like, oh, I think that I want to be like Maria. So can I ask you like what's your like daily like habits or daily practice? Maybe you do affirmation. Do you do anything like when first thing in the morning when you get up, like every day, like what is your day like, to kind of get this kind of discipline with this mindset?
First of all, I don't have a daily practice, to be honest. I don't have it's really, really ridiculous to expect every day when I wake up, I jump out of bed. Sometimes when I wake up, I want to snooze my alarm. I want to throw my alarm out. That's no, but we have to be honest. Okay. Yeah. That image of like, when I wake up, I jump out of my bed. That's ridiculous. What if I'm tired? What if all of that is normal? We are human beings, right? We feel tired on a daily basis. We all of that. But for me, I say what I mean. So if I said today I'm going to send an email, if I will be late, I will say I will be late. If today I have to show up for this interview, then even if I do not want to wake up, I will ask someone to wake me up because I've already committed to this. It's respect, right? Again, at the end of the day, it's respecting myself and the people that I committed to and the things that I committed to.
Yeah, I love that, the honesty, the authenticity within yourself. And I actually love how like what the teaching is about owning your difference, right? Talk about like people have like their own unique self, like different, and people thought like, oh, I want to blend in, but actually you're supposed to not blend in, So how do you navigate that? Like as Asian women, like before, like some of us, even like America, like I came from Indonesia. And we have that kind of, you don't want to stand out too much. Like that's how we grew up. It's like just blend in, just a little bit, but not really. So it's kind of like, but you're saying like own your difference. So tell us about that.
So here's the thing, right? The only reason why we want to blend in is because we do not trust who we are, right? So for me, I'm okay to be different because I don't think being different is wrong. The moment you think being yourself is wrong in any way, you will always feel the need to justify being like everybody else. It doesn't matter if it's, but it's better for work. It's blah, blah, blah. So for me, a misfit is not a rebel for me. These two are different. A misfit is just a person who does not fit in. I don't need to argue and justify myself and be angry at the world that, hey, why are you this? Why am I not this? Because it's the same, right? If I am criticizing and judging people for doing things a certain way, what makes me different from them? I'm the same. I'm just having a different opinion. I'll just be angry. So when we say owning your difference, it is owning your worth. The problem is people do not know how to talk about their worth. Maybe they don't even know what their worth is. Most of the time, we are not trained to think of our worth. We're trained to think for validation. From a young age, okay, be good, or if you're not good, what would people think of us? Get good grades so that you can get good school, go to good school so you can get best job, go get the best job so you get best money, marry well so you have, like there's a lot of that, right? We're not trained to think of our worth. But the moment you start articulating your worth, it's so easy to say I'm worth more. But to not know what that means it's like you're living in limbo. The moment you know the words to define your worth for yourself, you don't even need to tell it to the world. You just need to tell it to yourself that this is who I am. This is the value that I bring to the world. Right. The moment you have the words to verbalize and articulate that, the moment you have the numbers to see, look at, this is how I calculate my worth. Why am I accepting this kind of job? Why am I working for this kind of client? Why do I have this kind of product? Right? The moment I know how to quantify my worth and verbalize my worth, it's easier to own it. It's hard to own something that you don't know.
Right. So true. So true. And actually that kind of lead me to like the next thing. You actually been working a lot with self-worth and how to overcome it, how to articulate and owning it. Tell us more about it. I think you put a program together recently, just launched August 3rd, wasn't it?
Yes, it's very, very new.
Tell us more about how
so I created this digital program. This is a digital course that's 3 modules only, very short, very concise, and very practical. You hear a lot of confidence, a lot of mindset, a lot of work programs that talks a lot about mind. Oh, you need to think well, blah, blah, blah. You need to have a daily practice. You need to drink kombucha every day. You need to be meditating every day. All of this is great. These are great ideas. But if we do not know how to take action there, it's nothing. It's really a waste of my energy and waste of my time, right? So I thought, okay, how can I help people to start owning their worth in the most practical way, the one way that is easy, that is digestible and accessible? So I put together that digital product, and that is 3 modules only. Every video is less than 3 minutes. Less than 3 minutes, all point, no bullshit. Because you know what? Owning our worth is about no bullshit in our lives. Small investment, it's just $47. I made it so anybody.
So program actually, if you want to check it out, you can look on my Erna Blooms Instagram link. You can check out into this art, be the best person they could be for themselves, so, and be happy, right? So Maria,
exactly.
I learned a lot from you just like from today, like about self-worth.
Thank you.
And then I could just throw my my alarm clock and still feel good.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's the thing, right? The moment you start living by other people's should and should not, that's the time you diminish your worth immediately.
True. I think we all need to do a lot of practice daily about catching ourselves first, and then start practicing separating that. This is about my self-worth decisions and where am I going in life, and all that stuff. So I really appreciate your time today.
You're very welcome.
Nuggets and also about the link for your program I really appreciate it. And it's a very, very affordable, and I think it's very action driven. I think it's really great for everybody, and it's like looks like a starting point, for your great life. I think all the decision will come from that, and I think it's amazing that you actually put this together for us. And so thank you so much for your time. Do you have any
Pleasure.
One advice or one thing to leave behind for our audience today? What would it be?
Be different. If you want the world to listen to what you have to say differently. If you want the world to see who you are, be distinct in who you are. Most of the time, we want something, but we're not willing to be different.
So if everybody any clever video, let's give a heart for Maria for tuning in today.
Thank you.
Hopefully you'll come back again for some other topics, because I know you're always looking up something.
Hello Aces, hope you liked that discussion with Maria Tan on owning your self-worth. And if you like it, please hit like. And also, if you know someone who needs to hear this message, please share it. We at Blooming Aces have a mission to impact over 10 million people with more knowledge, mindset to achieve their freedom lifestyle. We will have a lot of exciting guests coming up, as well as roundtable discussion in our YouTube channel. So subscribe so you get to see all the stuff that we're gonna roll out soon, and it's gonna be fun. So also comment if you have any suggestion on guests and topics that you like to discuss, and we will try to do our best to bring it to you. Thank you again for watching, and see you on our next video.